Okay, so let's look at adding rational expressions. We'll start with equal denominators. So here's a really easy one. 1/5 plus 2/5. So here we'll start with rational expressions. I have the same denominator. So that's easy enough. I'm going to keep the denominator and just add the numerator. So more simply, we'd write 3/5 is our solution. So that was pretty easy. So we'll go on to something a little bit trickier. This one looks a little bit more complicated, but it still has common denominators. The only difference is here we have an algebraic expression. It's got an x in it. So to do that, we would still keep the denominator. As long as the denominators are the same, we'll keep it. And we add the top. So this is just like back when we were in pre-algebra. So simply that becomes 3 over x plus 5. All right, let's look at one a little bit more tricky. Unequal denominators. Okay, we'll start with one that's just numbers, no algebraic expressions. So the first thing we need to remember from, back in, I suppose, 5th, 4th grade, is that when we have different denominators, we have to get a common denominator. So the way I always show this is just rewrite your fractions, and then you have to find the LCM, right? What is the LCM of 4 and 2? Well, that's a 4. So what we need to do is put a 4 in the denominator of both these fractions. So the first fraction doesn't change, it's still 1/4. But the second fraction, what do we multiply 2 by to get a 4? So we multiply that by 2. So if I multiply the denominator of a fraction by 2, I also have to multiply the numerator of that fraction by 2. So we'd have 1 times 2 is going to give me 2. Easy enough, right? And then I'm going to keep the denominator, add the numerators, and that is equal to 3/4. We probably wouldn't do this in high school anymore. If I have problems like this here, I have students use a calculator for that. They probably already know how to do this, but it's important to know how to do this process if you're going to be able to do the next one I'm going to show you. So hold on. So this one's not too bad, kind of simple, but the same as before. I noticed that 4 and B, as in boy, are different. So the first thing I need to do is find the LCM of 4 and B. And we can multiply these together to get the lowest denominator. But know that anytime you multiply two denominators together, you're going to get a common denominator. It just might not be the lowest common denominator, but this happens to be the lowest common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite my fraction bars, and I'm going to put my new denominator under each one. So what we did was multiplied 4 by b. So I have to multiply the top by b. So that gives me 3b. And let's see. This got multiplied by 4. So I have to multiply the top by 4. So when I multiply 2 times 4, I get 8. So now I have a common denominator of 4b. And I'm just going to write what is in the numerator. 3b, so I'm going to write that here. Plus gets a plus, so plus, and then just write the 8 next. So we have 3b plus 8. This doesn't simplify any further because the numerator does not have any common terms. So it's just 3b plus 8 all over 4b. So sometimes you'll see it this way. You'll see an expression has 3 fractions in it. So they all have different denominators. So the first thing we have to do is find the lowest common denominator, or at least a common denominator of b, c, and 2. So that is equal to 2bc. So what I would like to do is rewrite these fractions with a common denominator of 2bc. 2bc and 2bc. So it's really important, the bookkeeping part here. Make sure you write these, do all these steps so that you don't make a simple mistake. So what do I get when I multiply, or what do I multiply b by to get 2bc? Well, I multiply it by a 2 and a c. So I have to multiply the numerator by the same thing, 2c. That'll give me an 8c. Going to the next fraction, what do I multiply c by to get 2bc? I multiplied it by 2b. So I'm going to multiply the top by 2b. So 1 times 2b is a 2b. And last fraction, 2, where'd my pointer go? 2 gets multiplied by both b and c. So I'm going to write that in, a b and a c. Got to multiply the top by the same thing. So 1 times bc is bc. So far, so good. So now I have my common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this fraction with the common denominator of 2bc. And then I'll just rewrite a 8c plus 2b plus bc. So here I have no common terms to combine. So that is it. That's the end of this problem. One last problem here. This one looks a little bit more complicated, but it's really not. You can do this. So we need to first find out the LCM. We need to get a common denominator of all these fractions. So what is the LCM? Do that red again. LCM of m cubed, c cubed, and m to the 4th. So that would be c cubed m to the 4th. So c cubed m to the 4th is my common denominator. So I'll jot that in here, c cubed m to the 4th. So we multiplied m cubed by, well, c cubed and 1 factor of m. So do that in the numerator, c cubed and 1 factor of m. So I might have, I'll write these in alpha order for no other reason than I'm a little monkish. So the next one, what did I multiply c by? Need my pointer. What do I multiply c by? Undo. What did I multiply c cubed by to get c cubed m to the 4th? We multiplied by m to the 4th. So whatever you multiplied by on the bottom, you got to multiply by on the top. 1 times m to the 4th is m to the 4th. And the last fraction, m to the 4th, is there, but there's no c cubed. So I had to multiply by c cubed. So the top gets multiplied by c cubed. Now we have a common denominator of c cubed m to the 4th. And there are no common terms in the numerator. So I'm just going to write those down. C cubed mx plus m to the 4th plus ac cubed. And that is what you need to be able to do for when we get to complex fractions. So look for my upcoming video on complex fractions.